Good morning, good Erev Shabbos. I want to speak about a strange topic, what you think is strange, rather. I don't think it's strange because the Torah speaks about it. It's a talk about what it means, virgin land, or just a virgin, but I think it's a nice idea because it came in the context. So this is the idea. So I have a couple thoughts. Good morning. The first one is this. Dream so big, I can't do it alone. Do you dream so big that it's impossible for one person to accomplish that? You have to have others. Is your vision so finite and limited that you think that you're not a leader of people and you are just yourself? You're only your resources, and you have never a chance to really tap into other people and see yourselves as having a common goal. It's like a virgin land. The virgin's untouched. An untouched person or territory. Untouched. No one's been there before. You're not. We learned that interpretation yesterday that spoke about what a virgin is. They're not trapped in the mindset of a ish. Women in general are not supposed to be intellectual in this sense, that they're trapped in the anxiety of thought. That's why they dance, specifically the basilos. Good morning. Specifically, the virgins are going to be the ones that are the center of the round. The round, dance of the virgin land. There's a Mishnah that speaks about the vineyard. I think it was round, actually, in many cases, and I don't know if people from Israel, if they can tell us how it's done. How do they make a vineyard? But it's called Mechel HaKerem in the Mishnayos, Kalayim 4:2. It's called Mechel HaKerem. Mechel means a circle dance. That's what we were learning about yesterday. It has a geographical representation also in a mechel. I don't know if that's an empty part in the vineyard where you could actually have a dance, or if the vineyard is round and maybe it's inside or outside. I don't know how it looks. I've learned the Mishnayos before, the whole section, I think. It's Kilania. And okay, I guess it didn't stay. I have to look it up. I think it's a fascinating thing if people could find these sources about what the vineyards looked like. I saw diagrams in the Mishnayos that I have, and I think that a lot of them were round, okay? But I don't really relate to that since I've never seen one. So if you have, maybe you could post a picture of it. That would be interesting. So this is what I took down, okay? For the Bartanura commentary on this Mishnah says, Machel Kerem is the part of a vineyard that is empty between the vineyard and the surrounding fence. So it sounds like a corner, really. That's the way I'm reading it here, at least. But then it says, as in Machelis Hanashim, women's dances, for they would dance around. Okay, now that's what I spoke about yesterday. And by Hashkakapatis, well, I did search for it. Sometimes things fall in your lap, and sometimes you have to search for them. Because it's a two-way relationship. That's what I spoke about yesterday. There's from the outside dancing around the center point. What is the center? What's the hub? Remember, we had the image of this spoked wheel, specifically spoked, because they're all pointing to the round. Okay, I want to bring a secular source here, and I'm sorry, I apologize in advance, and I'm sorry to offend and all that. Okay? But there's a popular song, so that the reason why I think it's not necessary, but it's interesting and useful to bring it in is because that's part of our language. Do you have the expression in your parlance, to use the French, the word around? Who will dance on the floor in the round? Okay? In the round? What the heck is a round? So I had to look it up because we have that word in Hebrew. Mechel Anashim. Machelis Anashim. They danced in a circle. The tzaddikim will dance in a circle in the future era. Right? And it's happening now also, right? That's the virgin land we're in. We're on the threshold. But we're going to dance around. It's going to be men, women, and children all together. dancing in a circle together, pointing at the middle, at the round's in the middle, but the center of the round, the bullseye. Everyone's pointing like spokes to the hub, to the, I don't know, the axle, I don't know what it's called. Right? But that's the image. Everyone pointing, and Hashem probably pointing back. I brought another source, just my own idea. That I think the pasuk is, and it means that God is going to take everyone by the hand, individually. So there's going to be a connection. We're pointing, okay, it's the Michelangelo. Oh no, there it is. I found another source in popular culture that totally represents this. But that's the idea there of, the giving of life, this Zeus, I can't say his name, this figure that looks like your Zadie on steroids. That should be a good subheading for this. Your Zadie on steroids. But he's giving life to Adam, who's lifeless without it, but it's really the breath of life. So that image is a bit troubling in terms of authenticity to the Torah, the breath of life. Shurim speaks about the breath of a kiss, okay? There's the kiss of death we have in Judaism. Do we have the kiss of life? It's like breathing. Yeah, it is. Brantanya, like, Man de nafach beteichen nafach. It says in the Zohar, I think, that one who blows from the inside the depths. And that's the breath of life that resonates with the Shurim. I don't know if it's direct, but it's my idea. Okay, so what is a round? Who dance on the floor in the round? Machel Hanashim, the Machel Tzadikim. Hashem's going to make a Machel Tzadikim Lasilava. He's going to make a circle dance for them, and God's going to sit in the middle on a throne, probably, that faces every direction at one side. Okay, everyone has the individual relationship. That's it. You and God. That's it. And all the people you bring into your world. If you're an open person, you can bring so many people close to God, and that's the circle. Everyone's going to reach out to each other. The Baal Shem Tov and his disciples would dance arm on shoulder of the person beside him, together like that. They would be one. It's not like, oh, he's sweating on me. He's so enthusiastic. He's sweating on me, or he smells or something like that. You're all one. If he smells, it's your fault. You didn't tell him that he smells before. What kind of friend are you? Care about someone? Come on. So what is a round? In the round is a phrase that identifies an architectural setup, usually applied to theaters. Here the term establishes the seating surrounding the dance floor in a round. Okay, in the 50s maybe they had it. I didn't live in that era. I've seen very limited depictions of that, but some. When applied to theaters, the term means the audience seating surrounds the stage area. So is the virgin is the star in the center of the dance floor, whose all eyes are upon, or is that God in the center? Depends which way you're looking at it. Okay, what do we have? We have that we're dancing around. They're not in the center of the floor. We say Kol Kvuda Bas Melech Pnima. She's in the center, but not revealed in the center. That's the Jewish way. You don't see her necessarily. She's the crown on his head, on the king's head. You look at the king's eyes, and then you look up more, and there you get the Kol Kvuda Bas Melech Pnima. The inside is expressed as a crown. Good morning. And that crown is what's precious to you, right? You put your precious gems. So what's precious to you, that represents what's the inside of you, the rutzing, the inner will, what drives a person, the ideals of a person, what a person loves. Okay, those are ideas. Deal with it. Okay, so we have, let me just say those verses, dreams so big I can't do it alone. Okay, so you could look at that two ways. Are the dreams so big? I have such big dreams. I can't do anything. I can't do it. But alone, you can't do it. Okay, the round dance of the virgin. Okay, because it's going to include virgins, bachrim, and zkenim. This dance, and everyone's going to be pointing towards God. We're going to be dancing around and pointing towards God. And why? It's rude to point, right? But it means where your attention is. That's what we learned the other day. Look up those sources again. They're worth reviewing many times. They're really incredible stuff. So virgin land, I wanted to relate that to one more thing. So I told you the parish that we had yesterday about the idea of virgin is the anxiety of thought. So a virgin doesn't have that. A man has that That's why it's specifically a dance that's associated with the virgin, because a man has to attain that during this experience. He has to have this innocence, this virginity, this new land. Everything's new. It's fresh. You have to, even the man has to have that in this dance. It's expressed by the basulas, but there's going to be bachrim and skenim also. Everyone's going to be there, all the women, everybody's going to be there. So my understanding of what basula means in our context is this, because what he says there is it's a spiritual thing. He starts saying it's going to be tangible, and he keeps on backpedaling. I give a way to resolve that, the tension there, that it's really direction. If we're coming from outside, we want to transcend our finite limitations expressed by the physicality. So we want to go out of that towards God, recognizing that the infinity is the truth, and God forces us back. So we have this rhythm, back and forth, because God says, no, dir b'tachteinim. I want you to have pleasure. You're gonna, what you think, the things that you relate to, your language, your frame of reference, I insist. I'm going to pour it out on you. I don't care you're saying die, enough. I want you to, I'm doing it for you. I know that you're so precious to me that to me it's all about you. Okay. So I have some sources about this. I don't know. Maybe I talked about it enough. The dancing in the round. I don't know. Did I post that one? I think I did. The Rabbi Baruch Murker page. I'm posting the more lamdisha stuff, the more academic stuff. And then I have Juicy Soul, which is another thing because it's based on the Tanya today. Okay? So today's Tanya for the 8th of Av, it says, let them pour out their soul like water in the presence of God. So here we're talking about juicy soul. How are we going to relate this to virgin territory? I don't know. It seems obvious. Juicy soul. What does it mean, a juicy soul? Why am I talking about such weird things? Because the Torah teaches me this in the morning. I don't know. What can I do? I learned Tanya before. It talks about a juicy soul. I want to know what it means. But first it says, let them pour their soul like water in the presence of God. As the sages say in Sifri, ad mitzui hanefesh. In the spirit of our sages, blessed men, we taught in Sifri, commenting upon the verse, and with all your soul, chol nafshecho, that prayer should be intense to the extent of pressing out the soul, ad mitzui hanefesh, until you squeeze juice out of your soul. That's what davening is. If you don't do that, you're just saying words. Shh, don't tell anybody. It's not davening. Sorry. Davening is ad mitzui hanefesh. You squeeze out your soul. You give everything to God. The juice of your soul. I told you once or twice about Noam Wagner, the way he was singing Niggin. He was fetching with his whole body. Okay, he's screaming at the top of the lungs in a public place in 770. Okay, in front of people. Top of his lungs, he didn't care. Cushion took us to the world. This is what you need to hear. You need to hear someone, ad mitzui and nefesh, singing a niggin, a beautiful Chassidish melody, to the extent that he's squeezing out his soul. He looked like he was, okay? He's a friend of mine. A very special person, Rosh Hashiva in Johannesburg, I believe. And the Rav Hakal or whatever. Big rabbi there. Here they interpret it this way. The wine that is this is the commentary on Tanya. The wine that is forced through the cracks of an absolutely full barrel is no more than a trickle, yet that what forces it through is the very fullness and the entire quantity of wisdom within. So too pressing out the soul refers to a state in which the entire essence of the soul is bursting forth, and its love for God, yet only a trickle of this love is visible externally. He makes this distinction. I don't know where he gets it from. I don't like it. I like what he told when he's speaking about pressing out the soul, essence of the soul bursting forth. I like that. I don't know why he says it's a trickle. Where does Tanya say it's a trickle? Tishtapech kamayim, let it pour their soul forth like water in the presence of God. A trickle? I don't know. I don't know where he gets that from. Then I have another source that says on mitzvah and nefesh. It's in chapter 30 of Tanya. Here. It's pretty interesting. I'm just going to say it quickly. I know the topic of virgin soil or whatever is very fascinating. It's a bit hard to break away from that, but I think a juicy soul. Come on, guys. Every person, to whatever extent, whatever his place and level in serving God is, he has to make an accounting. So this fits with the Elul coming up, right? The whole month of accounting. He has to look inside him. That he's serving God with the way that a person who's in the street has to fight off the Yetzer Hara not to do horrible averas, horrible sins that, a very lowly, crass manner. So is the person who's not like that, is he waging such a war with himself? Is he really passionate about it, his love for God? Is he going on mitzvah nefesh? We'll see. However, this is a different source, okay? The other one was Igeras Kedesh, today's Ketas. The first epistle, right? And this is chapter 30 of Tanya. Is a person serving himself in the same way, waging a war, this awesome war, facing such a temptation, this challenge in his life, this test? And is he doing it with his positive approach towards God as opposed to just his ability to stay away? He might be a cold person by nature, and therefore he's not drawn towards doing transgressions of any sort. Or he might be just very focused on doing good things, but is he doing it enough? Is he waging the same kind of war as he would have to if he was a passionate person towards temptation? So, and how do we define that? Is his approach of God, davening intensely with intense thought and intent, to pour out his soul before God, with literally all of his strength. Are you doing that? If you're a wimpy person, you probably can't daven, I'm sorry to tell you. But if you have a powerful soul inside that just, for unfortunate reasons, you don't have that health expressed physically yet, then you still have the ability to draw that out. It might be harder. Good morning. Might be harder to draw out. You might be lacking some of the ability to let that shine forth externally, or at least emotionally, because we don't want to make a big show. It's not a theatrics. Davening is anything but theatrics. It's nefesh. We said that was his interpretation of what the basula was, right? She had the nefesh. Dancing means to, that's what he calls spiritual. It's fascinating. He doesn't mean like something Platon, like in a Plato's heaven, like ideas. He doesn't mean, he defines nefesh there as freedom from anxiety and the whole inner conversation of unworthiness and depression and self-doubt. And the virgin is the expression of a person who just goes out of that. And when they celebrate, that's the most expressive form of that freedom from the constriction of the mind. That's a so spiritual thing. I think that's another way to resolve it. I gave it a philosophical way to resolve it, based on the Ramban. But this is another way to resolve it, sort of more psychologically. It represents a state. When he means spiritual, when he talks about Gan Eden, he means your ability to get out of the limitations of your limited mindset. It's the same idea of going out of physicality, so it resonates with that too. But it doesn't have to be departure from the whole physical world, which he seems to maintain, but that's very difficult to resolve. I know, I'm trying hard. So does a person wage war to such extent against his body and his nefesh habahamis? No, im hagufay. Okay, it doesn't say against. Im gufay v'nefesh habahamis shaboy hamoinoi makavanim elcham l'tzumo, that prevent him from davening with passion, with intensity, with focus. He has to crush these. If he has this, he has to crush it. Ka'afar, like dust. Kainim tefillah. Before davening, shachris v'arvis midayim b'yim, twice a day, every day. V'gam b'shas tefillah, and even when he's davening, liyageb atzmai b'yagias nefesh b'yagias basar, he has to apply soul and body, flesh, very intensely. Kameshim nivar, lekaman barichas. V'kol shalei yigil lidei midas zuli lachem l'gufim adayin lei yigil v'kinas erech l'kamos l'yetzar bayar ke'esh lava liyais nichna v'nishbar b'fnei pachad Hashem. Where does he say mitzvah nefesh there? Oh yeah, sorry, it said b'chol kayich mamash ad mitzvah nefesh. He has to pour out his soul before God with all his power to the juice of his soul. How does he define juice of the soul? A milchama atzuma, a great war. It's a fight that's a spiritual and v'gias nefesh, v'gias basar. Both, all of him, all dimensions of the person focused on just pouring your heart out to God. Okay? That's what it means, ad mitzvah nefesh. Write it down if you want to have that definition, because I'm going to have to quote it another time. You have to know what it means. I also should. Okay? I'm trying my best. Okay, these are beautiful words. It's a verse in Psalms. For because of you, we are killed the entire day. Kill me, Sarah. Famous words in my mind. We are reckoned as sheep for the slaughter. Rabbi Shimon ben Manasseh says, now are we killed the entire day. The reference is to the mitzvah of circumcision. Manasseh says, with all your soul, love him until the extraction of your soul. That's how they translate mitzui nefesh. Okay, you're extracting the juice from your soul. Yes, yeah, I like it. It just doesn't have enough liqueous sounds to it, but that's the same. That's terms used in that context. Yes, the juice of your soul. I like that a little better because that's the word means. Rashi says, with all your soul, you have to serve Hashem with all your soul, even if he takes your life in martyrdom. Okay, that's in Dvarim and it's in Gemara Brachos. Okay, now I got some other things, some other sources here. I want to see whether I'm going to go into it or not. I got 5 people here. That's pretty good. I had a lesson yesterday with one person. Private lesson. Okay, I guess he's a friend. And I was touched that he would ask me, how can I make up for the fact that I missed the yard site, he says. I said, let's learn Mishnayos together. We learned that one about dancing in the round. The Murker. I learned that with him. And I gave a whole introduction. I mean, I should have recorded because everyone could have enjoyed that. It was like very basic. If someone wants a basic class, maybe I could do that daily at noon and broadcast that. Someone let me know if you're interested in that. Like a noontime at ETA. EST. I got a Shem Mishmol because I recognize that name now. And I got a Sefer Yiraim. I'm trying to see where it says Mitzu and Nefesh. I didn't get a chance to go color it in. Okay, my coloring book experience didn't happen yet today. Okay, he talks about okay, he brings that Gemara. Ad Mitzu and Nefesh. That's why it came up in my search. Okay. He just cites that. Okay, so I'm not going to go into that right now. Let's go to Shem Mishmol. If you're with me, Juicy Soul on my Rabbi Baruch Murker page. Shem Mishmol, Gemara Pesach 15:26. I don't know. It's not Gemara Pesach. I don't know. It's item Pesach. When we talk about on Kriyas Yamsuf that it was horse and chariot, right? That means that the sus, the horse, which is also related to tefillah, okay? And the Alter Rebbe in Likutei Torah speaks about a horse represents your ability to send a messenger far. Okay, you could put a message on a messenger on a horse, and you can take that message far. So it's your tefillah that reaches far away. Good morning. So your tefillah reaches far away because if you feel distance from Hashem, that's our way to bridge the gap. You send horses. Okay, but here we're talking about, the context is when the chariots of the Egyptians, the limited mind of the Egyptians, was cast up and down in the sea and pummeled to their horrible destruction. Okay? But it says that they went together, horse and buggy, horse and chariot. Nira Elas Mizel Yisrael, and they had a benefit to the Jewish people. Al pi divrei hazayar kadosh asus ramez leklal ha'umay. And it says in the Zayar, I didn't know this, that the horse alludes to the general nation. V'reich hu hasar shalhem. Okay, we know that from Rashi actually. Kol sus rechav parei, I think he says in those words. Why say sus? It just says susim or susot. Depends if they use females horses. presumed. No, just kidding. Probably Susim. Why does it say Susim? Why does it say Sus? Dr. Seuss. Am I Dr. Seuss that I know what I'm talking about here? But there it says, why one? Because to Hashem, it's like one horse. Pow, pow, he's dead. What's it to God? 1 million horses? How many horses were there? 6 million? Something huge. Okay, look at the drush in there. I'm glad you're laughing with me. Someone's got to be alive in this world. I'm telling you, I think I'm doing this litmus test of people's state of mind, and I say hello to people now. I said 70% before, and now I think it's 80%. Ignore me completely. Maybe they say, oh, this guy thinks he's so cool that he wants to bring light to the world. Okay. People are so cynical. Could they say that? Could they possibly? I would like if someone smiled at me, so I'm trying to do it to them. Even probably we could reach someone after the fact. They say, you know what? Maybe it's good to be happy. Okay, people are busy and they're involved with all kinds of important things. They should be blessed that they should have time to just reflect on, celebrate life a little bit. A little bit. Okay, a little bit, people. When someone says hello to you, say hi back. The Rebbe is all sicha. Someone says shalom aleichem, you have to say aleichem shalom. It's a chiyuv. Wait, you think 80% ignore you? Yeah, I think 80% in Toronto now. Maybe I'll keep statistics. That would be interesting to post. I'll type in the data every day. I started counting my tefillahs in the mikvah. I just had this thought: does God count how many tefillahs? Because some people do 210. Shayalmas, 210 dunks. There's a story about a Rabbi with mental foot. Did you hear the story? I told you it before. It was freezing out. I'll tell it quickly because I hate repeating myself. Just there's new things to do. But it's so cute. It's so awesome. Less than 80? Okay, I'm glad you're optimistic and you have a better experience, at least in your communities. But I know you've had some experience in Toronto, so maybe you have that Aveda also. It's not appropriate for everybody, surely, but I don't know if you're a crazy nutcase like me. Go out of your shell a bit and say hello to people. That's the last thing I want to do, believe me. I just want to be in my own world. Okay, I'm a loner, right? We wrote about that today. Look at that. Look what I just wrote today. Can't do it alone. I wrote about that before. Okay, so what does it mean, chariot and rider together? So the Zohar says, and it resonates with Rashi, the literal level also, and always does, that, or you have to bridge it. The Rabbi has to, they bring the genius out. But when we're talking about the horse, we mean Egypt. When we're talking about the chariot, we mean their ministering angel. The chariots, right? The angels. V'shneim yachad nitboim b'mayim, both together drowned in the water, which Rashi says was like clay. It was hard, or it was like horror show. Everything that was a makkah l'Mitzrayim, a plague, a punishment to the Egyptians, was a healing to the Jewish people. So here's a Musar for you, okay? Well, this is a source rather from Musar. When you beat up the limitations in you, you're healing other aspects of you. Not really Shittas Chabad. Who is the Shemish Shmuel? I think he's in line with Lubavitch though. He quoted the Alter Rebbe. Someone tell me, figure out who Shemish Shmuel is. Good morning. When you beat up the Egypt, you heal yourself. That sounds very violent. Let's see what it means. V'kenu gam be'inyan hamitzrim kshurim edveikim besar shalhem. Okay, we're talking a spiritual thing. So the horse and buggy were one because the Egyptians were tapped into their true identity as being this horror show ministering angel. They were cleaving to their sar. Afilu b'shas tiruf hadas, even when they were freaking out because they were against an enemy. I don't like to call God an enemy, but their foe, their oppressor, the opposition, made them panic. Ad mitzvah nefesh. Afilu b'shas tiruf hadas ad mitzvah nefesh la yifaredu. Even when you're going crazy in ecstasy and vacuous with God, Sus and buggy. Sus v'reich by Yorubayam. They went together, flinging up and down like a bungee cable. Oh my goodness! Did anyone realize that they were on a bungee cable? Good morning. No one ever said that before since the Miyamim Yamima, that the Egyptians were smitten with bungee plague. Wow. Ad mitzvah nefesh, they would not leave that bungee cable. So what's the healing for the Jewish people that came about from that? This is awesome. It says, like, transform my mourning into rejoicing. Miyagan l'simcha. I'm writing about that today if I have time. I'm like running out of time to do this editorial. Whoa. But I want to write about this, the round, the virgin circle. Oh my goodness. How could I resist? It's the 15th of Av. How could I resist just sinking my teeth into it, like almost literally? It's much to people's dismay, I'm sure. And people are, how are they going to take that? You know how they're going to take it? I'm not going to translate the word. Simple solution. Basula, it means a maiden, okay? I won't translate, maybe I'll use, when I translate a verse, should I lie about a verse in the Torah? That's so ridiculous. It's so silly. People are so silly. People are so cowardly. Like lambs for the slaughter, sheep for the slaughter. We had that verse from both, okay? Be bold. Be the tail of a lion. And we read that, we learned about that before, and yesterday I think we spoke about. Right, I don't know if I actually got to that point about the tail of the lion in that context, because it was okay. You can cleave to the omnipresent, even when you're freaking out, in awe of God, because you're having ad mitzvah nefesh, mayim Rabbi, great waters. It says shal tirdos and mahumais. Oh, here it brings in a sort. I might have been saying it wrong. Tirafadas, I got it wrong. It's the word of the I think Torah Parshas Neach. What's the main Neach? The flood waters. It's tirdos and mahumais, things that bewilder you. Afilu mitzvah nefesh v'isur misa rochman al-san. I don't know. I like the way I'm reading it too. It's the same thing. You're tirud, but mahuma also means like freaking out. So that could mean dveikus here, because it's talking about dveiking the malkim. Afilu b'shas tirafadas. If you're dveiking to Hashem, it fits. Mayim Rabbi, okay, because that's the way the Alter Rebbe interprets it as the tirdas, but also the difficulty to make a living, and all this thought process that I said is the opposite of dancing. The dancing, the psula, the virgin dance means to tap into das, experiential mode. You just enjoy. You enjoy transcending yourself, not like the man, the ish, who's trapped in his poor, constrictive mindset, literally. He has to come out of that too and be like the psula in order to dance in that environment. That's completely will blow his mind. There's no person that's walking around here that can fathom this. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm in a very repressive area. I can't stand it. But I shouldn't see the negative. It's my fault. Okay, it's my fault. I didn't light people up yet. I'm trying my hardest. Even the yeshiva had a hard time lighting people up without some friction. Friction makes a fire, right? That's another idea of swimming against stream makes you stronger. Okay. You fly out of the water with more power to be caught by the bear. Even to the, you have to squeeze out your soul to either overcome the tiras apanasa, the difficulty and all the things that confound you, literally. Or, I think it really means the ecstasy, the dveikus of the nefesh, and you're freaking out, you just can't handle it. It's almost the exact same words as the Alter Rebbe. He must be paraphrasing that. I'm serious. He will not be able to extinguish the love. Beautiful words. And his soul stays cleaving like horse and chariot, like rider and chariot, flying up and down in this magnificent, dynamic experience, right? In the moment, dancing through this experience, like the psula in the machal, in the circle dance with God at the center. Nishara nefesh vuka adbaya. His soul stays cleaving, even though it's like a panicked, ecstatic state. Adbaya, until the soul comes. Lishtava, to cleave, to go to become, to come to. Baya leshtava, it's like the same word twice. He comes to come, begufo de malka. Begufo, in the body of the king. Leshtava de gufo de malka, okay? To come to or to embrace the body of the king. Maybe that's a better translation. I have one more source. It's a bit long. Looks amazing. That was really good. That last, I was still like, just in the afterglow of that one. I don't know if I want to leave that afterglow. 9:25 record time. I was up at like 4 a.m. because my son was not even close to going to sleep. If you just have so much freedom, what do you do? What do you do with your life? Eight, 19. I'd do that, yeah. I'd do that. And less, when the way I grew up probably would be less worthy than the way he's spending his time, sure. I had to find a path. Took a while. Oh, this looks amazing. Oh my goodness. Okay, anyone with me still? Jason Brown, hello. Mordecai Jacobson. Morning, Murker Tov. Good morning. Amnu kikeach hazeh avdu palu avos ha'olam. The fathers of the world made this strength. Lachniya v'mat dimat klippa hahi, to subdue little by little this klippa, adasher yuchlu Yisrael l'shuv lebeis avihem, until the Jewish people can return to the house of their father. Ki hayu nichnasim betuma hazu v'adesh lo hayu yitzim la'olam. If they went into this tuma, this impurity, certainly they'll never go out to the world. The first of these avos ha'olam, who was it? What's the fathers of the world? Our mother, Sari Menu. I've never seen someone write about this after I've been speaking about it at so much length. I haven't really done any research, and here it just fell in my lap. He came to the bed of the king. And Pare did everything in his power, master of the world, to seduce her. I've never heard this before. Did you know this? Pare wrote everything to her. He was willing to give his everything in the whole world for her. Oh, goodness, that will get me in Vegas. Okay, I can't go in Vegas in the middle of like the street and all you people. Look at those words, gaguim. You know what gaguim means? It's the way an infant looks at his mother. Yearning with everything. Mommy, pick me up in your arms. Remember, God calls the Jewish people mummy. In Hebrew, is mummy like honey? Mummy? How do you say it with the right accent? Gaguim. That's such an onomatopoetic word in Hebrew. Gaguim. We say goo-goo. Gaguim. It's like a gooey word, like a baby. It gives everything. A mitzui, a nefesh. He pours out all the juice, the tears, the whole thing, the saliva. Okay, it's been a long time. You can see. There's gaguim. The kama karkarim. Karkarim means like karku kobne shes. They're going to be obliterated or ruled over or eviscerated. So what does it mean in a sound context? That also sounds onomatopoetic. Karkurim. Karkar. Croaking. That's what it means. It means croaking. Is anyone here from Eretz Yisrael? Oh, well, maybe it's not quite Shabbos there yet. Okay, I'm glad I read this. Opulis Shaines, Asapari La Sita, to seduce her, let's say to his will. Until he wrote a prenup, rather. Kol Asher Loi, just like Avram gave to Yitzchak, everything for the ultimate unity of Yitzchak and Rivka. The whole world depended on that shidduch. And what did she become in the tent? Sari Menu. What's Sari Menu? I was talking like this if we're bringing like almost the exact words, and I was hushed, I was shushed, and I left. Because it's more important to talk about barbecues or something like that. No, this guy was, he was talking good stuff. It's just, okay, I'm a megalomaniac. Ajikosav law beksuvasa kol esher loy v'shar dvarim samnu chazal. Samnu, is this supposed to be shmanu? No. Samnu? They laid it out, they placed it. V'hi yira espnei elikal umaso b'mishkov ha'arel. She was terrified. V'hi yara, she saw, same letters, okay? She saw the face of her God, Elokeha, umasa b'mishkav ha'aral, and she despised this uncircumcised playboy. She was disgusted by him. V'shibra v'achnia kol tavisal. And I can't even believe it's saying this. Whoever saw a source where the women had to fight it. Here it wasn't a fight, it was a natural response. Maybe that's the idea. It's not an actual conscious battle. It's just the way she is. It's an intuition that a woman who was married to Avram Avinu, who sacrificed 90 years of her dreams for the sake of him, so that he could have the power to stand up with the most beautiful woman in the whole world. In order for him to do that, it was worth her sacrifice of her dreams. Does he have big dreams? He can't do it alone. I mean, look at my haiku there. He yares pnei elikal masa the mishkava oral the shibro achnia kol taveisel. She broke. It does sound like somewhat of a struggle, friction. Bechnian, she subdued. And that caused a little bit of that klippa to be overthrown. And then, she paved the way for Yosef. I spoke about Yosef Alenka. I never made this connection. She paved the way for him. I would have never ascribed that to Sarah. I thought she sneered at this guy. That's the way I understood it. And it could still fit in a little bit with his explanation. I thought she was sneering. She was sneering at him. But was it an Aveda or was it a natural? You know what? It was natural, but she blazed the path for this. Never had there been such a temptation before, and it came out. So that virgin land is what's at consequence here. Okay, that's what it means, because Sari Menu was disgusted by this guy, let's face it. It's just that it was a blazing new path in Aveda, like Avram Avinu blazed the path of self-sacrifice for God. Noach sort of touched on that idea, but nothing like Avram. He was like, what does it say? He wouldn't have amounted to anything next to Avram Avinu, because he blazed the real path. Ad mitzui and nefesh, mesiras nefesh, sacrifice for a cause. And the mistress of his masters was set upon him because he was beautiful. It says, it calls it dam nefesh. The soul of his blood. He squeezed out mitzui dam nefesh. It's got the phrase mitzui nefesh here. But dam nefesh, it was actually blood, because it says that, and this is my own interpretation, because it says that he lost 10 drops and 10 tribes were lost of him because of that. It's referred to as, when a person does that on purpose, that's considered drawing blood. Good morning. They should join the share. You can sit here. There's room enough if I move all my sfarm. Can't see who's coming in. She blazed the way. I always knew it was Sari Menu. I always knew it was Sari Menu. I thought Yosef. No, it had to be Sari, but I didn't understand how, the connection. Now I see how. V'Hashem Elokei Aviv haya imoy ad asher yichniya Yitzray hara v'tashav be'eisen kashtei. His bow, okay, is settled. The passion of his bow was settled. V'teshav be'eisen kashtei. V'gam hu achniya makes us high klipa t'kifa liyasher derech lifnei bnei Yisrael. Oh, he also blazed the path for the rest of the Jewish people. They each contribute something. He had the actual physical temptation. Sarai had the blazing the path, just like Avram with regards to self-sacrifice. Yaakov did the same aveda. He did the same aveda, so that when his descendants were going to be there for 17 latter years of his life, he would have paved the way to fight that temptation. Okay, it gets into all this musar about Shmiras Habris, which is fascinating, and I am going to leave that for you to deal with. Okay? I like the sort of, you know what I like, the fun stuff. Okay, so davening is about pouring out your soul. Pouring your soul is being passionate, directing the passion towards God. It's not about you. It's about giving yourself to God. You don't have to have the freedom to be able to do that, so you got to make a healthy environment for yourself. But it's all about God. It's not about you. And look at today's Yom Yom that says that you have to deal with integrity with people, with a sensitivity. That's you have to be very sensitive to others. So Yom Yom, especially Yom Yom Mavur expresses this point very clearly. So yeah, that definitely has to be a factor in your behavior, but you have to weigh everything. You can argue the two sides of anything. So you have to be in a healthy environment so that you could point towards God. And then you're in a dance with everybody. That's the real union. If you have the ability to pursue that life of integrity, then everyone will be gathering around you in a circle. You'll dance with other people. It's not just about me, you. It's about all of us together having our own personal, unique connection to God. That's this spoked wheel that I'm spoking about. Have a great day. Have a great Shabbos and an easy, meaningful fast, whatever that means. I don't know. To cry for the base of English, because we should have it now. Should have it now. Before Tisha B'Av, Shenidcha, should be Nidcha forever, like the Rebbe says always. Should be Nidcha forever, but Mashiach should be here before then, and we won't even think about it as be the greatest celebration. That's what we had a source I think yesterday, the day before, brings it in the same context with this dance, because the whole thing is to show compassion for our suffering throughout history. Okay, so that's why the suffering has to end already, and we won't have to fast, because, come on. We're ready to celebrate. We're on the virgin territory of the threshold of redemption. It's happening now. It's unfolding now. This really should be my main message, because this is where you guys don't come here to learn Torah, I don't think. You come here because no one's giving you a path to approach a way for you to tap into what has to happen first. And we don't want to admit this, but I gave you a source from the Rebbe. It was like a week after the 28th of Nisan, 5751, 1991. Okay? Put it up. It's going to be an individual process. You cannot deny that. You have to accept that and make that your whole focus of your life, to bring health into every area of your life until you could point directly to God and say, Zek Heli Van Vehu.